From Dice Camera Action, the very end. Oh, I can't believe we have to wait now weeks to see what happens to Anna's character there. Evelyn, Thomas Foss, lead designer from Neverwinter. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. Really excited.
So
that was pretty awesome.
That was, I mean, and we get to see more and more games coming up, these 90-minute sections, right? So, Tomb of Annihilation.
Yes, finally. Oh my gosh, out of the bag after so long.
I mean, Neverwinter, you know, for me, when I look into it, I think of this tundra, this like barren wasteland, and now you guys are adding this new environment to it. But I think actually, before we talk a little bit about it, before I ask you what exactly Neverwinter is adding into Tomb of Annihilation, we have a small little teaser trailer.
Can we roll it?
I'm going to see if we can roll it, make sure that these fans can see this right now. We got it. Let's check it out.
Awesome.
Oh, wait there.
I'm up on top. Coming back to 6.
All right, man. The first thing I seen that we were talking about earlier is the giant T-Rex.
Yes, yes.
What was your favorite part about bringing in Tomb of Annihilation to Neverwinter? Was it the giant T-Rex?
You know, constantly we have arguments, and with like, who is going to win, the green dragon or the T-Rex? And we're actually spawning them every once in a while just to see what fighting. And T-Rex is king. It's the king. Yeah, it was really exciting. Also, just getting out of the north. I love the frozen north. We did all of the Storm King's thunder and being in the ice and being able to bring players to like a whole new area, a whole new country, a whole new zone.
That's right.
A whole new world.
And unfortunately, people actually couldn't hear that trailer. There was no audio on it, but maybe we'll be able to play it again a little bit later with audio. But the environment, like you were just saying, it is this lush, dangerous, dark jungle area. How did you transition from Neverwinter, which is a bit more barren, to this lush environment?
Well, what we did was we actually wanted to take players from the frozen north and then give them a breather space, and that's when we went back to Protector's Enclave in Neverwinter and opened up the River District, right, just to bring players back home, make them feel like the local kid make good heroes, and kind of just do their laundry and do everything and get ready, and then have that wanderlust to want to go off to a new adventure. And that's when, and we had already had, working with Wizards of the Coast, knowing what they were coming out with, working with them tightly on that, so we started building up and getting things ready for Chult. And
how long have you guys been in work, like talking with them?
Oh, geez.
And obviously beyond, like, I meant for this patch. This patch.
We've been talking with Wizards of the Coast since the inception of Dungeons & Dragons, since Neverwinter started.
Of course.
Right, we work with them constantly. And we do that to ensure IP. But also just to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other, right? It's really neat. It's a great relationship.
And I'm sure you've been asked this a bunch, but how do you integrate a tabletop game, which, to be fair, almost every MMO out there is based off of Dungeons and Dragons?
Indeed.
How do you integrate this more role-playing aspect to a video game?
Well, you roll for initiative. Simple as that, right? Starting it off, you're going to be clobbering things, digging through their pockets, finding money, keep going to the next thing. But really, the whole idea, it's the story. Right? You know, D&D is about telling stories, about telling your story, about creating your story, and that's what Neverwinter is all about, is building your adventure, jumping into the game, you know, going through Neverwinter, going through Protector's Enclave, and starting off as just kind of a rogue coming from town, or whatever your story you build. You get to build your story. But then and then at that point you're given tasks and kind of given some quests, and then finally, you know, at this point when you're going to Chult, our head quest givers like Sergeant Knox, who used to be like the guy that would give you orders, he's now your drinking buddy, literally, right? You know, he's like, look, we need a favor. Can you do this, right? So it just shows the hero that you are.
Are there any other homages from earlier Neverwinter patches into the Tomb of Annihilation?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
As a matter of fact, the start of the Tomb of Annihilation, which we've just learned about the death curse, you're actually trying to solve it, and you meet up with some characters that you remember before, like Christopher Chettlebell, and he has a patron that wants you to, who's going to fund an exhibition. So now, as the player, you're starting your own expedition and gathering up players, known people like Celeste, actually Volo is going to be there. It's part of Volo's guide, going on your exhibition, and then other names that I'm not going to talk about yet, but a lot of famous names that you're getting together to travel off to Chult. And of course, travel in Neverwinter is never safe, so that's where the journey begins.
All right, so the social hub for Neverwinter's always been in one place, but now you guys are adding a new social hub.
Exactly, Port Nyanzaru, right, which is the outer outskirts of the big city. And the reason we did this is because Chult is such a big area and such a great place to explore. We wanted to give the players a really cool new hub to also explore. It's a whole new, it really is. It's just a whole new world, new props, new everything. And we wanted to let them hang out in another cool place. And it has most of all the mod cons of Protector's Enclave. There's a few things that can't go, but it's got your mailboxes, it's got the stores, it's got the mount stores, right? It's got your banks. So it's a really nice setup and a great place to actually hang out.
Mounts. Can we ride T-Rexes?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually part of the lockbox. And believe me, that's what we wanted. You're like, woo, T-Rex, I want to ride a T-Rex.
Seriously.
Yeah, so, those are in the cards.
What other small little iterations are being added to the game that's not maybe story-based, but changes to the actual gameplay?
Actually, quite a bit. So moving forward with Neverwinter, we've been doing a lot of things where we're giving the players agency to build what they, or to what adventures they want to take at what time, and to build it in their campaign. So with Chult and the new zone map, which is called the Chosen Star River, so it's just the basin of Chult, giving you, you only go so deep into the jungle. We have a lot of new gameplay elements to actually build up onto the campaign system. One is the hunting game that we have, and so because Volo's there, and he's always collecting things for his Book of Monsters. So he's working with the Hunters Guild, and you actually get these things called Hunters Marks. So they're marks where you actually go out and hunt things, and then when you bring back the marks, you get basically a new mark to kind of bait the next big thing coming up. And they get big, as you saw, right? Going all the way up to our biggest T-Rex that we call the King of Spines. Yeah, pretty awesome. And so that's one neat thing that we get to do. There's also a lot of hidden Easter eggs. It's a jungle overgrown with old temples and old ruins. So you get to go through and find all sorts of cool Easter eggs and things to do. There's a river. So, you should explore the river. I'm not going to tell you how, but there's ways to explore the river. But another big thing is, the jungles of Chult are deadly.
Right.
So I recommend players to, when you go in first, go in with a pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to die.
Looking for group?
Yeah, look for a group. Group exploration and group hunting is definitely a great thing to do.
Earlier when I was asking Chris Perkins about it, he said that there was guides in the Nyanzaru that you have to, decide who you want to take through the jungle with.
Right.
Do you have guides in this expansion?
We have some guides in the expansion, but right now they're mostly just contacts that you're dealing with. The main contact that you're dealing with in Port Nyanzaru is one of the 9 merchant princes named Wakanga Otama, and he is the merchant prince that deals a lot with treasures and magical items. So he's kind of your go-to guy. If you look at it, he's kind of the Lord Neverember of this area, right?
Okay.
It's his hold. So, and he's actually always looking for treasures and sending you out on things. And then in trade, when you do some tasks for him, he will give you treasure maps. So then you can go treasure hunting out in the world.
Okay, and the one last thing I want to hit on this is the new dungeon epic. What dungeon are we exploring?
We're calling it the Tomb of the 9 Gods, based on the 9 gods from Chult, right? And it's it's basically Tomb of Horrors. So it's deadly. You will die.
Very deadly.
But with that in mind, going to that homage of the old Tomb of Horrors and the Tomb of Annihilation type thing, it has a lot more puzzles in it. So there's these difficult puzzle games that the players have to work together to solve.
Cool. Like inside the dungeon.
Yeah, inside the dungeon. Yeah, and if you trip the puzzle, then there's consequences. But if you actually solve the puzzle, then it's just like an encounter. You get a reward at the end, right? So there's a treasure chest waiting for you at the end if you do it right.
So
if you get it
maybe
wrong,
combat's not your deal in Dungeons and Dragons, you can interact in way more ways than just combat, right? Role playing and puzzle solving.
Absolutely. Or you can be the Leroy Jenkins and run out and hit the puzzle and everybody else, and then you have to go through the consequences of that. So there's that. There's the bosses that we have in the map are not only just bosses themselves, but the Tomb of Annihilation is their lair. So the dungeon itself will also be coming at you and attacking you. So a lot of really interesting new things.
Chris Perkins, you guys let him do some more VO for the game.
Yep, he's going to be Volo. I'm really excited about that.
Tell me a little bit about that, man. How was he in the studio?
He hasn't been in yet.
Oh, he's doing it later.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's coming in like in a couple of weeks to do it.
Am I allowed to say the release date?
I think so. Why not?
Because it's on my card, but you said you don't. July 25th on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
Those are the current dates.
Tentative dates.
Tentative
to
dates.
Release.
Exactly. Yeah, it's super exciing.
Is there anything that you want to say to anyone, to the fans at home that are watching, really want to learn about?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to give a shout out to there's someone on the interwebs. and he put together a prediction of all of his clues, the things leading up all the way from Acquisitions Inc. talking about stuff through the pictures that WotC released.
A hardcore fan.
Hardcore fan, yeah, he put it all together and pretty much guessed everything. So kudos to him. So we're gonna get in touch with him and maybe send him a cool gift.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you think of Tomb of Annihilation. Before I send off to this teaser trailer, what do you think about the actual D&D indicator, like what the new module?
Well, so going back, I'm an old school, second module chainmail player. So Tomb of Horrors is the thing that you never survive. So coming up with the Tomb of Annihilation is just really exciting to be able to revisit that. It's also just a nice palate cleanser, right? Just the way you're dressing, the way you're looking at things, the adventures itself, what you're going on to, what you're chasing down. It's really cool. Wizards Coast did a great job putting together a huge panoply of different characters and different adventures. You were talking about that earlier, how we interact with that. Is they give us a giant palette, and we can choose to go up their storyline directly, or a lot of times we'll pick characters that are not exactly off their storyline, but ones that they've presented, and then integrate them with our characters and create new stories. And that's kind of what D&D is always about, right?
But do you feel that it's easier integrating these like adventures and modules into Neverwinter over just the general overarching feel of Dungeons and Dragons, which is more of a open world adventure, right? It's a sandbox adventure. With the actual adventures, it's more of a storyline and a plot. Do you think Neverwinter focuses on those storylines more so than just playing the game?
We kind of do a little bit of both, and so as I was mentioning before, we're giving the players more agency to pick which stories and which adventures they want to do and repeat. But we do have a story arc because we want to continue telling that story with our characters, just like with them. So it's kind of a 50-50.
So after all the story's done, what, level 70? Is there a new max level?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. What's in-game play in the?
So in-game play is to unlock the dungeon, right? The trial, and to get the epic loot from it, right? But we also have a lot of repeatable adventure quests, and we've designed them so that when you get your dailies and adventure quests, they always mix up. So it could be the same map, but it could be day night, it could be raining, it could be different critters. Where the treasures are hidden are different.
So there's like an RNG aspect to this.
Exactly.
Okay, because in a lot of MMOs, it's always the same thing, the same storyline, the same movement.
I don't like that. I want to mix it up. I like the players to have to think about things a little bit and give them variety. Even when it's the same thing over and over again, you want to do it. So I think that we figured out that with the current maps that we have, when you're replaying them, it's over 60 iterations.
Damn.
Yeah.
So Neverwinter's been in development now for 5 years?
We are coming on our 4th year anniversary.
Oh, 4th year anniversary, okay. For launch or for like beta included?
For launch. Well, beta included going back. I mean, I know exactly when we pitched the game because my wife was due with my child. And I was over in France pitching it. So that was 8 years ago when we first actually did the original pitch to Atari. And then we...
Oh, so 8 years ago, when did Dungeons & Dragons Online come out? Was that like 8 or 9 years ago?
I don't know. We don't talk about those guys
Okay,
much.
never mind.
That other cousin much.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, you guys were like, we'll take this and we'll do it right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they actually do a lot of really cool things too. And actually, since then, a lot of their employees are now working for us.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it's cool.
I mean, it's really cool that you guys get to like talk so closely with Wizards of the Coast and be able to like grow up with it. Do you feel, and obviously 6th edition or 5.5 is far down the line, but do you think that once 6th edition or the next big expansion does come out, is that something that you guys are going to maybe make another Winter 2, or are you just going to keep expanding on to Neverwinter?
I don't know yet. I think we'll see. Right? When we started, we were in 4th edition. And the world was different then, right?
Totally.
There was a big chasm in the spell play kit. And when they rewrote the 5th edition rules, we have been working towards evolving the game towards more of a 5th edition idea, right? As a matter of fact,
is that hard? Is that like jarring? Like you have to change the game mechanics?
There's some back and forth. You're like, what do you mean halflings don't wear shoes? Yeah, or the fact that the chasm was open and now in 5th edition it's sealed. So we actually tied in our story arc with the wizards in the River District to actually also close off the chasm and close it down. Have you ever
actually had an influence on the modules, do you think?
I don't know if we do, but when I was talking with John Fayol, he's like, look at Schult and look at all the cool dinosaurs you could ride because we know you guys like mounts.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Besides a dinosaur, what other mounts are there? Is there like, well, I'm thinking of like a jungle, and I don't want to say...
Well, in the jungle, I mean, there are already current mounts that we can get, like the axe beak, which is it's a big kind of terror bird type thing. The flail snails, so there's a lot of exotic creatures and stuff that we already have in game that you can ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the big dinos are the big catch.
I can't wait for this. I think it's going to be so exciting. Again, guys, coming out July 25th on PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Thomas Voss, thank you so much. Lead designer from Cryptic Studios. Again, is there any shout outs, anything you want to say? Anything that we've actually missed? Is there something new, like about, I don't know, the auction houses or new class?
You know, actually, I'd love to give a shout out to the team. Like from the
Yeah.
producers on down, keeping us, producers keeping it real. Our artists, Ryan and Mr. Kirchmer, making the zones. Remember, when we started this, we had, I think, one jungle plant. So we had to start from scratch, building everything. Which is cool that the players are going to see new plants, new temples, new lands. Just my design team really pivoting and just working back and forth to create awesome stories, and the art team just in general, just making dinosaurs and cool stuff happen. So thanks to them.
And thanks to you for joining us and letting all the fans know what's coming out in Neverwinter. Guys, we did have that trailer with no audio, but we're going to play it one more time for you all. Check it out right now. Totally has audio. Are we good?
Anna, you're always here?
Here?
Yes.
Okay.
Hustle, hustle.